Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 362. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Steampunk Star Raisin at amberstreet.com. What's up,
Hey,
bro?
what's up?
All right, so a couple of Everything shows ago, we were talking about how there was a falling out between CBS and Paramount Pictures, some type of divorce, say you, and that leaves where, unfortunately, CBS has the rights to do a TV series based on Star Trek, and Paramount does not. So, the movie company, Paramount, and I think it's Skydancers, had said that they would love to do a TV series, but this is going to be held up in legal battles for the next, could be many years. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I didn't know. This is news to me. How did Paramount lose the rights to do a TV series? They had the rights for many years.
Something was signed or something happened. The original series, I guess it was CBS, correct? Originally,
yeah, I think it was originally CBS.
And then at some point in time, they had a CBS type. I don't know if it was UPN or something else was connected with that, where they used to have Voyager.
UPN came later. That was a new network created in the 90s.
But I guess somehow that was that connected with CBS. Well, anyway, something happened to dissolve the marriage of CBS and Paramount, and CBS got left with the rights for TV only. So Paramount Pictures can't do anything. They could do movies, but of course, because they could do movies, and because they're not friends with CBS, they of course canceled that whole universe and make their own. Okay, which now makes even more sense why they did it, because technically they can't really reference anything from their TV shows. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because I would love to see another Star Trek TV series. I didn't know that the CBS studios was being a jerk about it, but they were being a jerk about the way they're doing the new Star Trek movies anyway. They want to turn it into Star Wars.
They do not want to have Star Trek on the air for TV.
Yeah, they view it as competition. They view it as competition to their movies.
No, they won't allow Paramount Pictures to do it.
Well, they won't allow it because they view it as competition. They view it as competition, and they view. This is the weird thing about CBS Studios. They view Star Trek Into Darkness as a bomb. Now, granted, it was a terrible movie. I think both me and you are in agreement. Daniel's one guy in our group that loves it, but I hated Star Trek Into Darkness. But it was the highest grossing Star Trek film of all time. It grossed $485 million.
Well, no. See, now here's where it gets tricky. Okay. The budget was about $250 or $220 million. Okay. So
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah. So if it made here domestically about 200 million or whatever, or even 300 million, right? If it made 300, it didn't, right? That means that it's not profitable. Now, even though overseas it could do like hundreds of millions, they don't get that full cut from that. So, in other words, you have a situation where, and I'll look it up now.
Well, I looked at. Me and Daniel had this discussion the other day. The Star Trek Into Darkness grossed, I think, $475 million, but that's domestic and international gross combined. That's total gross, $475 million.
Right. Here's basically the problem. Okay, I got the correct budget. All right.
Okay.
Into Darkness had a production budget of $190 million. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Right. It only made 228. Okay, so that's really bad. Okay, so basically it only made $38 million profit. Now, if you count the 238, right, it also made 238 million overseas, but you don't get that full percentage. Maybe out of the 238, they only get 50 million. Okay.
Well,
For
it
whatever
made a
reason.
little bit of money, but it didn't make a lot of money. And it also, if you throw in one thing they never calculate with production cost is they probably spent $100 million on advertisement for the film. So if you throw in, if you subtract the advertisement cost, they maybe lost a little bit of money on the film. But you know, the only thing I could say to CBS Studios, I doubt anybody from CBS Studios is watching this, but if there is anybody affiliated, is stop making terrible Star Trek movies, and maybe it'll do better. You know?
So basically, it wasn't profitable enough. It made a little profit, but it was an embarrassment. So they did throw us a bone. They did give us a less budget for the next one. But then while they're filming it, the Paramount Pictures said, this is a phenomenal movie. We have a gold mine here. Let's sign these guys for another movie. So they did. They signed the whole cast to do a Star Trek 4 movie. Okay? So in other words, Star Trek 3, it's called Star Trek Beyond, but it's technically their third movie. That will be out.
I didn't know had a name for it. Okay.
Star Trek Beyond. It will be out in 2016. All right. Now you know how things work. They're not going to. They already signed these guys, but they're not going to start writing anything until after they see how much money this stuff makes. Because if something happens and this movie bombs, they'll throw the contract in the garbage. So basically, they're going to wait and see it out for the rest of 2016, how it's going to do in movie sales, how it's going to do in DVD release on demand. In 2017, they will write the script for the fourth movie, okay? In 2018, they'll film it, all right? It will probably be out 2019. Okay.
I'm not that optimistic because I didn't like the new universe that they created, even though it was sort of like a prequel, but it's technically a new universe. I don't like Simon Pegg. I don't like some of the comments he made about Star Trek 3. I don't like the fact that he's co-writing the script. I don't like his characterization of Scotty. He's got Scotty all wrong. The way he fleshed out the character, that's not Scotty to me. That's like a comedy parody of Scotty. And I mean, I know it's almost like Simon Pegg watched Saturday Night Live and is basing his version of Scotty on Saturday Night Live character roles. But that's not Scotty. That's like a parody of a parody. And the original Scotty was actually kind of a serious character. I mean, yeah, he occasionally had jokes and stuff like that, and he was Scottish, but you know, he had the funny accent from an American perspective. But you know, he was mostly a serious character, and yeah, you could throw in jokes here or there, but I hate Simon Pegg being involved in the film. I hate Simon Pegg the way he's fleshed out Scotty. I have a real problem with the whole universe. I'm almost inclined just to throw it out. I'm almost hoping that Star Trek 3 bombs so that maybe they'd be desperate to get rid of the rights and sell it to some television studio. Maybe they will have a new television series, because they seem to want to make a competitor to Star Wars. From everything I have as an independent journalist, everything I have read and everything I have researched about it is they're looking at Avengers. Why can't we make $1.5 billion like Avengers? You know, that's $1 billion we should be making extra. And I'm like, well, Star Trek. Yeah, I'm like, Star Trek was never Avengers. It's always had a much smaller, more niche audience than Avengers or Star Wars, and you shouldn't compare the two. But unfortunately, movie executives are wanting to try to turn it into an action sci-fi franchise that competes with Star Wars and Avengers.
And they're trying to make it like Star Trek.
Yeah, and that's the wrong approach. It is the wrong approach. I mean, Avengers now is considered mainstream pop culture, but you know, you have like the cool kids going to watch.
What's up, Chris? We got Chris L with us.
Okay, hey, Chris L. But yeah, the cool kids now saying, "Hey, I love Avengers," but Avengers used to be a very nerdcore thing. So I think people are ready for more nerdy, more cerebral scripts, not stupidity like Star Trek in the Darkness.
That brings me to. Let me just bring up some box office numbers that we did before, but I'm going to bring it up for Chris. Chris, do you realize that Jurassic World was #1 again in the box office?
I heard. I haven't seen it. I have no opinion. have no opinion on the actual film because I haven't seen it. I have an opinion on the trailer, but not the actual
But, well,
film.
let me say, Chris L. All right, I'm gonna Steampunk. I'll call you Steampunk, and I'll call him Chris.
All right, that's part of the reason why I dropped my real name.
Okay, so Chris.
Yeah.
Jurassic World has made $1,240,000,000 so far, with no signs of stopping. What do you think it's going to do? Do you think it's going to destroy the Avengers?
I mean, I don't think it's going to destroy it, but I think it'll probably make a bit more than it's probably already made.
It's very close. I mean, I think Avengers was $1,500,000,000 or something like that.
Something like that. I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't really think it matters. I think as long as these movies are successful, we'll get more of them. If you want my opinion of which one was a better film, I'm gonna go with Age of Ultron because there were a lot of problems with Jurassic World that everybody see. The problem I'm having with Jurassic World is everybody is praising it and they're just kind of not looking at the issues, which is fine. If you ever like it, that's great. But there are some really big problems with Jurassic World that I think need to be addressed before they make a sequel.
Well, can I say a couple things? Okay. Right now, there's nothing really competing with it. There's no real decent movies out that are competing with Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
And I think the movie that will unseat it from number one will be Ant-Man. Because a lot of people are anticipating Ant-Man because it's got Ant-Man is supposed to be a future Avenger. It's in the MCU. Well, actually, Terminator looks like a lousy movie, but
Terminator is getting destroyed. It's got like a 17% rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh, it's already released?
I mean, some people, like professional critics, have seen it apparently, and they're destroying it on like every.
Well, the trailer usually 9 times out of 10. I've been surprised on rare occasions, but 9 times out of 10, I can tell if I'm going to like a film just based on the trailer. And the trailer from the new Terminator movie, it just looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's an elderly man trying to resurrect his career, and it just looks like he's desperate.
I don't understand
it looks terrible.
He never said it was great, so is he lying? I mean, I don't understand.
I personally think he liked it better than 3 and Salvation, and because he liked it better than that, he praised it. But you know what it is. I don't know if that was in a video or something that he said that, but you know, he could have said, I like the movie, and if it was like written down, whoever was recording it could have been like, well, let's say he said he loved it, just so we'll get people to go see it. Because that is a tactic that producers and, you know, production companies will do. Someone can say, oh, you know, I thought the movie was okay, and then if they want to bash that person, they'll be like,
and then they'll take it out of context.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a very nasty divorce. It forced him to not run for re-election as governor of California, and he's also.
I thought he used up his terms. I thought you couldn't run.
Well, I mean, there was potential for like an amendment of the Constitution. There was a potential for an amendment of the Constitution or something, and he talked about possibly running again for a 3rd term.
Yeah,
but he had that affair with his maid.
Yeah,
he had a nasty. Well, yeah, and he also had a nasty divorce settlement, and then I think did he get, from what I remember, did he get the maid pregnant or not? Maybe not, but but he got broke from that whole deal, and that's the reason why he's back in the movies. And
he made tons of movies though in a short span of time since he left office, and he made it all back anyway. He's not broke.
Well, his new movies kind of suck, and
doesn't matter. He popped out so many friggin' movies.
Well, they've all bombed. I don't know what he's done some I can't remember what movie it was about. Like he's like a sheriff of a Texas border town. That movie bombed.
Yeah, but he made money with Expendables. He made money, you know.
He was in Expendables? I didn't know that.
Expendables.
He's in all of them. He was in all of them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Expendables.
He was in the first one when he was at the end of his term. He could only be in it for like 5 minutes, so he made a cameo. Then in the second one, he was a big part of the second one, and in the third one too, he comes in at the end.
I can't remember, there was a movie that I saw with Arnold Schwarzenegger, not by choice, Make a long story short, I was staying at this hotel called Stay on Main, and they have and if you're a guest at the hotel, they have their own private movie theater. It's actually pretty nice, but you basically stream movies off Netflix. They have a big screen, and they have a dark room where you sit down and watch movies. It's like being in a private movie theater. But there was somebody watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, and it was a brand new one because he looked god-awful. He looked really old. He's like in an ATF-like team, and it's shot like... the whole movie is shot like Blair Witch. Like it's done with grainy footage from like a third-person perspective. It's like a news camera is following around Arnold Schwarzenegger and shooting everything he's doing, and he's with a corrupt team of cops. Some of them are doing meth, like they seize meth, and they're doing meth and stealing money, and he's part of this corrupt team of cops. And it was just a god-awful, typical Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just going to shoot him up. You know, but look at me, I'm an elderly man trying to play an action hero who's 20 years old. That's what it felt like to me. That's what it felt like to me. And I don't know what movie that was, but it was terrible. It was terrible. I had to watch it because I was waiting for my turn in queue to select the next movie to play off of Netflix, but I had to watch that crap first.
Oh my god.
Before I could select what I wanted to watch.
That's bad.
But yeah, he just seems like he's really like he went broke in that divorce, and rightfully so because he cheated on his wife, and you know because he married the Kennedy wealth, and then he got ousted from that, and it sounds like you know he's got a very expensive lifestyle, and he is desperate. He's making any kind of crap that comes out. That's what it felt like to me.
But he's doing okay now, though, Chris. I mean,
he is?
Steampunk. Yeah, I mean he is okay right now.
Okay, I need to find out the name of that movie because it was really terrible. It was like Blair Witch meets.
Right, we'll probably talk about
Blair
it.
Witch. It's like Blair Witch meets Arnold Schwarzenegger action hero.
But I do have to say, as I said in the other shows today, I did see San Andreas with Sharon, and I thought it was phenomenal. Did you see it, Steampunk or Chris L?
I have not.
Chris L?
I haven't seen it because I have a rule about going to see movies that has The Rock in it. I usually wait for it to come on my movie channel.
Oh my god, yeah. Wow.
Because,
Well,
I mean, no offense to The Rock, but he's only made 2 movies that I actually really liked, ever. And
Okay.
that's pretty,
Well,
you know, it's
What
pretty
were
cool.
those movies, though? What were those movies
What
that you
was good?
liked?
Yeah.
Which movie, Chris? What was the movies that you liked? That he did?
Walking Tall, which is one of the
Mhm.
first movies he ever made, and Faster, which was a few years ago.
Last.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Speaking of The Rock, he just came back at a WWE house show in Boston. He showed up he showed up out of nowhere.
What did he do? Just backstage?
Dwayne Johnson, or that's the name he uses now. I mean, I think that's his real name. But Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, he's trying to drop The Rock, but you'll still know him as The Rock. But he's kind of a mixed bag for me. He can't really predict whether it's going to be a good or a bad film based on whether he's in it. I've seen him in some really good movies, and I've seen him in some really bad movies.
Well, he's in Fast and the Furious franchise. Now.
My
He's in the G.I. Joe
favorite
franchise now.
my favorite Dwayne Johnson film, or my favorite Rock film, is it a pretty obscure film, but it's actually one of my top 5 favorite films of all time, and that's Southland Tales. Really good movie, very underrated.
Okay.
Have any of you guys seen Southland Tales?
No.
No.
Well, it's
No.
very underrated. Sony Pictures bought the rights to it and funded the special effects. And it's directed by Richard Kelly, the same director who did Donnie Darko. Did you guys like Donnie Darko? Have you seen it?
Darko. I love
Okay, if you like Donnie Darko, it's just as weird as Donnie Darko. It's got Dwayne Johnson, The Rock in it. It's got Sean Michael Scott in it. It's got Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. It's got all these celebrities. It's got like the entire cast from Mad TV. It's got Kevin Smith in it.
Wow.
The reason why you probably never heard of it is Sony Pictures, when they bought the rights to the film and funded the film, they decided that it was too politically weird and too politically controversial for a mainstream release, so they refused to spend any money on advertisement or promote it, and they deep-sixed it to DVD release. It's an unfortunate because I think with all the celebrity power in the film, it would have been successful. It came out in 2006, and it's about the apocalypse, but not in the way that you. It's not in the way that you think it is. It's basically criticism of the war on terror. This is why Sony Pictures didn't like it, because it would have been politically controversial just when Bush was still president. Basically, it's about the best way I can describe it is there's terrorists who cross the border into Abilene, Texas. They have like a 5-kiloton thermal nuclear device, and they detonate it. They detonate it, and they kill 3,000 more people. And then the United States devolves into a complete police state.
Wow.
And you basically have snipers on every street corner, and if you break the law, the snipers just take you out. There's no trial. They're judge, jury, and executioner right there. And you have an authority called the U.S. IDENT that oversees the internet and polices the internet. That's run by former NSA officials. It's kind of creepy how the film that came out in 2006 predicted the whole like pseudo police state sort of thing with like the NSA. And it's very underrated as a film. I recommend you seeing it if you like Donnie Darko. And for some reason, Richard Kelly is obsessed with wormholes because there's wormholes in Donnie Darko, and there's wormholes in the Southland Tales. That doesn't really spoil the film to know that there's wormholes in it, but it's very weird and complex film. I think it's very underrated. Right. Southland Tales. You can Google the trailer. You'll realize how weird of a film it is just by the trailer.
Chris L, did you see anything on Godzilla lately or no?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. I'm still awaiting announcement from them.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully. But, all right, guys. Do you have any news things you want to talk about, Chris? Or
I'm interested. I think we were going to cover this last night, but we didn't get a chance to. You know, I wanted to get your opinion on having Ben Affleck direct the next Batman movie. What do you think that's going to be like?
I don't know about that. What about? I mean, I don't think so.
I've seen the trailer. I've seen the trailer to
Batman.
I've seen the trailer to Batman vs Superman, and it looks terrible. It looks really bad.
I mean, Chris, what do you think? Do you think he's a good director to do that?
I think Ben Affleck is a very good director, but I don't know if he can do a Batman movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how he's going to be as Batman.
Did he direct Daredevil? Who directed Daredevil when he did the Daredevil film?
He didn't direct it, but he directed Argo. And
yeah. Okay. So he's a director, but he's a good actor, but again, we don't know how he's going to be as Batman yet.
I think the problem with him directing Batman is he wants it too bad. He went out of his way to audition for that role because he wanted to be Batman. The same way he went out of his way to be Daredevil, and I just don't think he does well in superhero genre. That's just my opinion. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody got quiet. I thought maybe I lost connection.
Well, I just feel like that. If he knows the lore, if he knows the character, it might be a good thing because he might be able to take control of the film and kind of keep out, the BS that happens behind the scenes with like Warner Brothers and every production company where they want something done their way. But I think he has enough credibility where he can just say, no, I want to do it my way. And if that's the way of, the way people like the character, I think that could be good. But, if he doesn't do well in Batman vs. Superman, nobody's going to want to see it. And I think that could be the problem.
Batman vs. Superman just looks terrible for the way the suit is, the way that it's like a Iron Man merged with Batman is what I felt like to me. It just didn't. I don't know.
Well, that's actually a reference to The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
And that's not going to be the suit throughout the whole movie. There's pictures online of what the suit that he's going to be wearing throughout probably 90% of the movie is going to be, and it actually looks really good. It looks like they ripped it right out of the comics. The one that you see in the trailer
Yeah.
because there was a graphic novel called The Dark Knight Returns where he fights Superman in that armored suit to try and counter his super strength, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in this movie. So that's not going to be the suit throughout the whole movie. It's just when he fights Superman.
Joe, are you still there?
Yeah, he muted himself.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, why don't they just do an Iron Man versus Superman? That could be interesting.
Well,
You
they'll
could have
never do
Iron Man
that.
and the Hulkbuster. I know, I know. I'm being a smartass.
I mean, that would be funny. I'd go see that. I mean, why not?
I mean, you could have
Who would
Iron
be-
Man and the Hulkbuster. You need to use the Hulkbuster. I would imagine him in the Hulkbuster outfit or the armor to battle Superman. It'd be a similar principle.
Oh yeah, definitely. You would need.
I don't know why Joe muted himself. That's unusual for him to mute himself in his own show.
He might be taking care of something off screen.
Okay. Hopefully it'll make for a good edit. I got to depart in 10 minutes. This coffee shop's shutting down in 10 minutes, and I'll lose my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jurassic World, I might as well mention this because we didn't get to mention it with Joe.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer, and to me it looked like it sucked based on the trailer. And I know a little bit of something about DNA, and I have a problem with all the Jurassic parks because I find it incredibly unrealistic that
But see, there's something in this movie that you would really like, really, really like, and it's so subtle too that I had the same issue.
Well, DNA has a half-life of 10,000 years, and after 65 million years, there's no trace elements of any DNA. Not
Hey,
even.
guys.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah,
we're
pretty
talking
good.
we're talking about DNA theory from Jurassic Park. But there's no trace elements of DNA. Like I actually saw a program about dinosaurs, and they were talking about how they actually extracted real dinosaur blood from amber, but they didn't know what species of dinosaur it came from because they couldn't analyze the blood because there wasn't even any trace elements of DNA. Because even in ideal conditions in a sealed environment, DNA has a half-life of 10,000 years, and it's constantly degrading. And after 65 million years, there's nothing left. Nothing left to clone. You can't even piece it together. It's just nothing there.
They didn't mention that, but one thing they did mention, which the movie is getting a lot of praise for, and I agree with it on this front because I had an issue with Jurassic Park, with just the way some of the dinosaurs looked, especially the Velociraptors. But what happens is one of the scientists, and this isn't a big spoiler of the movie, it's just something that one of them says. He says, if we had real dinosaurs, they would look so much different from what we have in this park. But they look the way they do because we've tampered with them so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's great that they put that in there because that kind of shuts up a lot of people who hate these movies because of that.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of controversy with dinosaurs. Like they discovered, like some dinosaurs, like I think some of the subspecies of T-Rex maybe even had feathers. They may have had, we don't know what colors.
Yeah, you don't even know what
you don't know what colors
the outside of the bones were. I mean, they could have been like
some fossilization of skin has survived, but only on specific species of dinosaurs. But you don't know what color, or so a lot of them you don't know what the texture was like.
I mean, they could have had fur, right?
Well, I mean, I think the most accepted theory now is that almost every dinosaur had feathers at some point. They're so, like, scientists are so surprised that dinosaurs actually have more in common with birds than they do reptiles. And
there's a new theory that not all dinosaurs went extinct after the meteor hit 65 million years ago, that some of the smaller species of dinosaurs survived and became birds. So, I mean, I don't know if that's really a new theory, but, I mean, the original theory was that they all became extinct and birds were like a close cousin, but scientists now believe that a lot of dinosaur species still live to this day, but now they're birds.
Yeah. Well,
and,
it's another interesting thing too is that lot of people don't know this, but like when you look at like flying dinosaurs like pterodactyls and stuff, those aren't actually dinosaurs. Now they're classified as they're just classified as flying reptiles. They don't even consider them dinosaurs anymore.
That's fascinating. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about it is possible to clone a mammoth because mammoths became extinct only 10,000 years ago, and they have found.
Aren't they trying to do that? Aren't they trying to clone?
Well, yeah, they have. It's more possible to clone a mammoth than it is a dinosaur because
what's up,
they
Jacob?
They went extinct 10,000 years ago, and they have found some mummified specimens.
Right.
The DNA is degraded, but there's trace elements of the DNA left. And mammoths being the fact that they're closely related to elephants, you could use an elephant as a surrogate mom for the clone, and you could reconstruct mammoth DNA with existing elephant DNA and reverse engineer.
That's interesting.
That's entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really seriously considered doing it because of moral implications, but they said they need the mammoths that they have found. The DNA was so badly degraded. They only were able to find trace elements, so they would need to find like a fresh, mummified corpse that's frozen. Right. That they would need they need more DNA, basically.
Jacob, what do you think of all this?
Yeah, still maybe who knows? Well, dinosaurs could exist in some way or form, maybe who knows?
Mm.
I love Jurassic World. Jurassic World was an awesome movie to go see.
Did you see San Andreas?
Yes, I did.
I
Man,
like that, dude.
So good.
I saw it today.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you want to create dinosaurs artificially, the only way you'd be able to do it would be to take bird DNA and manipulate it and reverse engineer it. That'd be about the only way, and that would take a lot of genetic engineering. And unfortunately, genetic engineering is only in its infancy. But they have done some amazing things with genetic engineering. I read an article in Discovery Magazine where they took a fruit fly and they changed the genes for the antennae and replaced them with legs. So instead of growing 2 antennae, it grew 2 extra legs out on top of its head where the antennae should have been.
We're going to actually do a topic wonders this week. And what it's going to be based on, well, we should do it. Our topic one is based on cloning and stuff, and But I wanted to do a topic wonders based on the pyramids that they found on Mars and Ceres.
In case you
didn't know, that was.
I've heard that for many years, and I don't believe that to be actual pyramids. I believe that it's mountains that look like pyramids.
Well, we're also going to be having pictures coming back from Pluto.
Yeah, I am excited. I am excited about that. I was that was the one astronomy event earlier this year. Was that we had the first close-up pictures of Ceres. There was a mysterious bright spot on the planet. They're not sure what it is. They think there might even on Ceres there might be a liquid ocean. Underneath an ice crust, but they know.
So we're gonna look for that topic. One is going to return this week with the space and talking about cloning and stuff. So that should be interesting.
Unfortunately for me, with science, I'm a generalist, so I know a little bit about everything, but I'm not an expert on any one thing.
Okay.
I think that's most people. I think that's a lot of people.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to go because I have to get up for work. Thank you, Chris L. Thank you, Steamboat Star Raising. Jacob, tomorrow we're going to be doing a show. I need your help with that if you're going to be around.
Okay.
And Daniel, too.
Yep.
All right. And Albert will be on, too, tomorrow. So, other than that, guys, take care. Bye for now.